Okay, thank you to all of you all for joining us today. We're very excited to announce that student and teacher workbooks will soon be available for the MyStar units. We are going to be mindful of your time today on a Monday afternoon, so we will have a short presentation and then we'll allow for some time for questions at the end. And please, as we work through the presentation, you're welcome to enter any questions you have in the chat. We'll work that way. Next slide, please. It's so nice to see so many familiar names on the call, but my name is Marianne Simonis. I'm the MyStar Program Director. Also here today is Chris Gear. Chris is the MyStar Professional Learning Coordinator, but has been with MyStar from the beginning and started as a classroom teacher helping to write some of the MyStar units. And also here is Ben Alloway. Ben is a Kendall Hunt Senior Sales Consultant. And we'll get started with Chris here.
All right, thank you. Yes, happy to see so many people who I've worked with before, and we've had lots of good experiences together. But if you're not super familiar with MyStar, or you haven't heard the story or thought about it recently, we're going to just spend a minute or two kind of explaining how MyStar got started and why and kind of how we work. And so MyStar started in 2015. Michigan had just adopted the NGSS standards, but there was no NGSS aligned curriculum available anywhere, and no teacher training. And so some researchers and professors at Michigan Tech saw that there was a need for this, and they organized some grant money and invited some teachers, and they embarked on this adventure of creating an NGSS aligned curriculum for our middle school teachers in Michigan. And so they did this in a very collaborative way. The teams that I started with in 2015 and continued to work with involved teachers, but also scientists, engineers, and people who had expertise in curriculum design. And we took the talents and thoughts and gifts of all of those people together and started writing units. And then we realized that we also needed some professional learning. And so we developed a professional learning program to go along with that. All along the way, everything we do has been collaborative. It's been a combination of listening to the scientists and engineers. What does it really like to do your job? And then listening to the teachers. What is it like to do your job? What do kids need? How can we help you? And so over the course of about 4 or 5 years, MyStar has written units to cover all 59 of the middle school performance expectations. During that time, we've engaged over 100 Michigan districts, hundreds of Michigan teachers, thousands of Michigan middle school students in experiencing high quality 3-dimensional experiences in science class. And throughout this time, MyStar has always listened to their teachers. One of the reasons I really loved working with MyStar when I was a teacher is they really truly listened to me. They really valued my input and the input of my colleagues. And I've seen that now working with MyStar. They continue to listen to their teachers. We do listen to our teachers. What do you need for professional learning? What do you need in the units? How can we make them better? And then one of the things that we have heard for a number of years from teachers is, could you give us workbooks? When are we going to have workbooks? And so in that spirit of collaboration and listening to teachers, Marianne is going to tell you about our partnership with Kendall Hunt.
As MyStar has continued to grow over the years and is growing even more, we will be moving outside of Michigan to go nationwide. So we're very happy about the opportunity to partner with Kendall Hunt. for this process, and Kendall Hunt will be marketing and selling MyStar outside of Michigan under the name Anchored Science by MyStar. At this point, we were at a point where we really need to expand in order to sustain the MyStar program for a long time. And this provides an opportunity for teachers throughout the nation to use the MyStar curriculum. And it also allows us as MyStar to maintain our current structure within Michigan. So what does this mean for Michigan teachers? So we do want to reiterate that Michigan teachers will continue to work directly with MyStar. So you all will be subscribing to MyStar as you have over the last several years. And you will access the MyStar curriculum and professional learning through the MyStar portal. And we will be maintaining a low cost for subscriptions for Michigan teachers. So I just do want to note that the subscription cost that you will be paying is not the price that is listed on the Kendall Hunt website. And so yes, so the exciting part is that there will be printed student and teacher workbooks available for MyStar units. So Michigan teachers will continue to work with MyStar staff for subscriptions and professional learning, but you will have the opportunity to purchase printed workbooks from Kendall Hunt. We have been speaking with Kendall Hunt for about a year now, working towards a partnership, and it was just announced this month. But their team has been working very hard to, has already started developing the workbooks that will be available for print. There will be 12 workbooks that will be available this coming school year, and then they will continue to work on the remaining 10 MyStar units. And so I'd like to introduce Ben Alloway from Kendall Hunt. And I think, Chris, if you could just back up one slide, please. Thank you. Go ahead, Ben.
All right. Thanks, Marianne and Chris. So real quick, before I jump into all the information that you guys are excited to hear about these workbooks we have to offer. Again, my name is Ben Alloway. I am the sales consultant for the state of Michigan. So I've been working with Michigan for 3.5 years now. My role at Kendall Hunt is both supporting math and science K-12. So I have some experience on both sides. I'm actually a previous teacher myself. I taught middle school math for a couple of years before I got into the K-12 space. And just so you know, Kendall Hunt really specializes in the inquiry style of math and science. And so that's really where this partnership was a very good fit. You see the title of these books we have on the screen here is Anchored Science. As Marianne mentioned, that's just the kind of rebranded name for what MyStar is. So it's going to be the same exact thing that you're used to. The content will be the same. We're just going to have a different name for it, the Anchored Science by MyStar. The units that you see here are the units that we are going to be able to have available by August of this year. So when we say that they'll be available, we mean in the actual print workbooks themselves. So feel free to take a look over those. There's 4 units per grade level. And so the total of 12 units that will be available by August of 2023. Now, this does not mean we're stopping here. We're going to have all of the units available at some point. Once we get these units completed, we're going to move on to the remainder of the units. And the goal is to have those available and completed in total by the start of the following school year of 2024. But it could be even earlier than that. So if you're interested in seeing what these workbooks will look like, we're going to have some of the earliest samples available at a couple of upcoming conferences. So we will be present at MSTA. We're going to have some of those hard copy samples. That will be the first place we'll be able to display those. So feel free to come by the MyStar booth and you'll get a chance to actually thumb through those and see what they look and feel like. We will also be at NSTA as well. Kendall Hunt will have our own booth, and so we'll have some samples there for you to look at. Just so you know, we also are in the process of putting something in place so that we can actually mail you some hard copy samples. And I see it looks like a question just popped up regarding that as well. So we are hoping to have that. We are in the process of working with MyStar to make sure we get all the formatting right and everything looks good and ready to go. And as soon as those print books are ready, we'll be able to send some of those hard copy samples. We're still a little ways away from that. I would say, probably about a month to a month and a half away from that. Feel free to be checking in with me. We will show my contact information at the end, and you can continually check in to see when those are available. In the meantime, though, we will have some digital samples that will be available. So I know it's not as good as looking at a physical sample, but it will give you a good representation of what the layout would look like, and just sort of the structure of what a lesson will look like through Kendall Hunt's version of this curriculum. All right, so some of you may be wondering what the costs look like. We are going to be charging $7.50 per student edition, and we're going to be charging $18.95 per teacher edition. Now, this is per unit, so you do have the option to choose and purchase the units you're using. Again, the 12 units that are going to be available in August will be aligned with this cost structure. And then the plan is for this cost structure to be sustained for the remainder of the units that are released as well. Now, I know Chris and Marianne did some digging to try to evaluate how does this kind of line up with the cost of just printing it on your own, which my understanding is that's kind of been the process so far. For anyone who needs print materials, you're going to the printer and you're running those copies and you're printing it yourself. After doing some pretty thorough analysis, we found out that it's actually very close to what we would be charging. The nice thing is it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle. The other thing is we will be printing these workbooks in color. So you'll have that nice high gloss color. For those of you who aren't familiar with Kendall Hunt, we've been in the publishing business for over 75 years. So we have a lot of experience with printing books, making sure that the formatting is correct, making sure that there's enough space if students need to show their work, that they're able to show their work. But also, like, one of the things I didn't think about when I was a teacher is evaluating the quality of the print. So, some things that are easily overlooked, like, are the pages thick enough to where if students try to erase something, it's not going to tear a hole in the page? If students are using ink, is it going to bleed through to the other side? These are middle school students who are going to be using these books. Is it going to hold up to them putting it in and out of their backpacks all day? So these are things that we think about for you, and we make sure that the books are printed in a fashion that are going to hold up to some of the wear and tear that students are going to have when they're using these workbooks. So we hope that us being able to provide these for you will save you a lot of time, a lot of hassle, a lot of stress with trying to print it on your own, and that it'll make it much easier for your students to get access to the content, as well as yourselves as the teachers getting access to those teacher editions. So if you're wondering, how can I place an order? This is my contact information. So all I need in order to give you a quote is I need to know which of the 12 units that are going to be available you are interested in, and then what quantity of student and teacher editions you'd like to order for those units. So feel free to send me an email if you're interested in seeing a quote. If you want to get something on paper that you can take to your principal or to your district administrator and show them, hey, here's what the total cost of this program would be if we were to purchase it through Kendall Hunt, I'm happy to put that estimate together for you. Just feel free to shoot me an email with that information, the units you'd like, as well as the quantities of student and teacher editions each, and I can get that put together for you.
Thanks, Ben. And if anybody is interested to learn more about MyStar, we do invite you to view our informational brochure. You can also sign up for MyStar news and updates at the bottom of our website homepage. And so we will be continuing to update on the availability of the workbooks and additional units. And please also feel free to reach out to me anytime via email. Okay, we'll take a look at the chat for questions. In addition, you can either just unmute yourself and ask a question or use the raise your hand function. There's just a little screenshot there with how to raise your hand. You can go to reactions on your Zoom menu and then select the raise hand icon there.
So Marianne, one of the questions I did see in the chat was around the digital. So I just wanted to clarify that Michigan educators will continue to access all the digital content through the MyStar platform. Now you will see if you go to the Kendall Hunt website, we do have a digital version that will begin. So please continue to use that through MyStar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and also we will continue to update the curriculum as we have in the past. So units that are currently being revised are part of those initial 12 workbooks that will be printed. So those updates we are making for the next fall will be reflected in the workbooks.
I have a question about the teacher edition. So how thorough is it? And, you know, does it have everything in it like it's on the website? And if so, then do you still need to be on the website?
You can do both. I think, Kelly, if you're here, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. It's going to have all of your answer keys and those types of things, any instruction that the teacher might need. The only piece, and I'm going back now and kind of revising some of this, but there are places where you need to have access to a specific URL for reading that students are supposed to do, or a video or something like that. So you are going to need those URLs for sure. You know, and that MyStar has it kind of laid out that they have those linked documents. So I think if you had those plus the other, you would probably be able to get everything you need. The primary part that I'm thinking though is the outside links when you need to go to those readings or go to like or the slides would be, I guess, the other piece.
Okay.
Some of the slides, I am pulling in some pictures that, you know, are kind of almost needed as part of the answer or part of the explanation, but not all the slides will be included either. So I suppose the slides and then the outside links to any readings or videos.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. And thank you, Kelly. Kelly Fagan is with Kendall Hunt, and she's been working diligently for months now on the workbooks. So we really appreciate her. I did see there was a question of, is there different costs for the workbooks per unit? There is not. So they will be the same cost per unit, correct, Ben?
That's correct.
Okay. And yes, we will keep everybody updated about the release of the workbooks when they are available in print. And as been noted, you can order in advance of the printed copy being available. And I know with fiscal budgets as well, Ben mentioned that they can have an order and then process once your funds become available.
Yeah, so and just to clarify on that, so one, we can get your order in the system so that it's ready to execute and ship as soon as these hard copies are available in August. Something else we can do is that if you're waiting for July 1 funds to purchase these, we can receive a PO and get that in the system and wait until after July 1 to go ahead and invoice that so that it doesn't come out of this year's budget. So just know there are a couple different options we have in terms of getting the order placed for you.
Okay. And Teresa, I see that you have your hand raised.
Hey there, Marianne. I wanted to address the question for Heidi. She asked, will there still be an option for teachers outside of Michigan to pay for the training and then have access to the digital editions? And absolutely, that's the whole, I believe the goal of this partnership really was to expand the offering of this curriculum. So yes, there will be once somebody expresses interest, they will be, routed through different channels to where Marianne, Chris, and the MyStar team will give them access to the unit that they're requesting, and the request also includes the cost for the PL as well.
Thank you.
There's a question here from Wendy. Is the non-Michigan price for 1 year only and for all 6 to 8 or 1 grade level?
Referring to the
Out of state
license.
The out-of-state license will be, it'll be 1 seat for a teacher. So 1 teacher then will have access to grade 6, grade 7, whatever the units are that they need for their particular class. And so then the cost then is per teacher, and you have access to everything that you need for a school year.
And for 1 year, correct, Kelly?
1 year, yep.
So yeah, Wendy, it will be similar as in MyStar, where teachers can choose units they teach. They're not bound to their grade level.
One of the questions that I see in here is when the URL for the sample is available, where can we find the link? That will be on our Kendall Hunt website. We actually have a section for Anchored Science now, and we will be posting the digital samples there. So I'll drop that link in the chat here so you can have access to that.
And we on our end will send it out to everybody on this registration list, and then we'll post it on our dashboard and our website too.
See through here. Does anybody else have any questions at this time? We're certainly willing to stay on for a bit.
Thank you so much. I got to get back to teaching. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi.
Okay, if you don't have any questions, of course, feel free to log off and enjoy your Monday evening, but we will stay on for a bit. So if you have additional questions, we're happy to help.